Have you ever wondered why, despite eating right, staying active, and doing all the usual healthy things, your legs still feel weaker? Why stairs seem steeper, and standing up from a chair takes more effort than it used to? Most people assume it's just aging, but sometimes it's not about what you're failing to do. It can be about a quiet daily habit you're doing with total confidence because you've been told your whole life it's healthy. Here's the uncomfortable idea. Not every fruit works the same way for every older body. After 60, circulation can slow, blood sugar can swing more easily, and joints can become more sensitive to inflammation triggers. So, a fruit that felt harmless for years might start causing subtle problems, like heavier legs, knee stiffness, swelling around the ankles, or more joint irritation. And the frustrating part? The effect can be gradual. Nothing dramatic happens in one day, but little by little you notice a sharper calf ache after a short walk, stubborn thigh soreness, or a strange tightness in your knees you didn't have before. Today we're going through 7 fruits that some seniors may need to limit or avoid, especially if they struggle with leg pain, swelling, arthritis, gout, diabetes, prediabetes, or circulation issues. This isn't about fear, it's about noticing patterns and choosing what supports your body now. And if you have medical conditions or take medication, it's smart to check with a clinician before making big diet changes. Before we start, if you care about protecting your mobility and staying steady on your feet, stay with me until the end, because we'll also cover better fruit options that tend to be gentler for aging joints and blood sugar. All right, fruit number 1, pineapple. Pineapple is tropical, juicy, refreshing, and it's famous for bromelain, an enzyme people often talk about as anti-inflammatory. But for some older adults, pineapple can backfire. Why? It combines natural sugars with strong acidity. As we age, blood vessels can become more sensitive, and blood sugar spikes may hit harder than they used to. Pineapple can raise blood sugar quickly in some people, and repeated spikes can contribute to inflammation and circulation strain, especially in the small vessels that feed the legs and feet. What might that look like in real life? Not an instant reaction, but over time, some people notice dull, dragging leg fatigue after walking, ankle swelling that feels random, knee stiffness that's harder to shake off, legs that feel heavy after certain meals. There's another layer, it's acidity. If someone already has joint irritation, reflux, or inflammatory flare ups, the acidity can feel like it adds fuel to the fire. Hips, knees, ankles, even feet. And one important caution, bromelain can interact with certain medications, especially if someone is on blood thinners or has bleeding risk. That doesn't mean pineapple is poison. It means it's not automatically safe for everyone, and context matters. So the takeaway isn't panic and never touch pineapple. The takeaway is, if you've had unexplained swelling, leg heaviness, or worsening joint pain, pineapple is worth testing by reducing it for a couple of weeks and observing. Now here's the scary thought. If a fruit with a healthy reputation can be problematic for some older bodies, what about the next one? Soft, sweet, and famous for muscle support, bananas are soft, sweet, and everywhere. For decades, they've been praised as the perfect muscle food, rich in potassium, helpful for cramps, great for energy. For younger, very active bodies, that can often be true. But after 60, bananas don't always behave the same way. Here's why. Bananas are high in fast-digesting carbohydrates and natural sugars. When you eat one, blood sugar can rise quickly. In aging bodies, insulin response is often slower and less efficient. When that happens repeatedly, it can quietly increase inflammation and circulation strain, especially in the legs. What does that feel like? Many seniors describe it as heaviness in the legs after meals, dull soreness when walking or climbing stairs, stiffness in calves that wasn't there before, legs that feel tired, even without much activity. There's another issue most people don't connect to bananas: fluid retention. In some older adults, especially those with heart, kidney, or blood pressure concerns, Bananas can encourage the body to hold on to extra fluid. That can show up as swollen ankles, puffy feet by evening tight joints that don't loosen easily, and the most deceptive part, the effect is silent. You eat bananas thinking you're protecting your muscles. Over time, they may actually be making movement feel heavier and more uncomfortable. This doesn't mean bananas are bad food. It means that for aging joints and slower metabolism, they're not always the friendly muscle helper they're marketed to be. Portion size, frequency, and personal sensitivity matter a lot. If you regularly eat bananas and notice aching, swelling, or stiffness in your legs, it may be worth pausing them briefly and seeing how your body responds. Now, here's where it gets even more surprising. If a large, obvious fruit like a banana can quietly cause trouble, what about something smaller, lighter, and easier to snack on? Something people eat by the handful without thinking? Grapes look harmless, tiny, juicy, easy to snack on. They're often praised as heart healthy and rich in antioxidants. Because they're small, people rarely think of them as a problem. But for many adults over 60, grapes can quietly aggravate leg pain, stiffness, and inflammation. Here's what's happening. Grapes are high in fructose. Unlike glucose, fructose is processed mainly by the liver. When the liver can't handle large amounts efficiently, something that becomes more common with age, the excess fructose can be converted into fat and uric acid. And that's where the trouble begins. Uric acid can accumulate in joints, especially toes, ankles, knees. Over time, this can create a burning or throbbing ache, sudden nighttime toe pain, calf tightness that appears without warning, stiffness that makes even short walks uncomfortable. Many people associate this type of pain with gout, but you don't need a formal gout diagnosis to feel the effects of rising uric acid. There's another layer, chronic inflammation. Fructose doesn't just affect joints directly. It can increase low-grade inflammation throughout the body, which slows movement and makes the legs feel heavier and less responsive. The biggest trap with grapes is how easy they are to overeat. They don't feel filling. One handful becomes two, then a bowl. Before you realize it, you've consumed a large sugar load without the body noticing until the inflammation shows up later. So while grapes look like a clean, healthy snack, they can quietly reduce flexibility, increase joint irritation, make legs feel less comfortable as you age. If you've been eating grapes regularly and noticing more stiffness or swelling in your legs, this may not be a coincidence. Now let's move to a fruit that seems even safer, mostly water, refreshing, and widely believed to be ideal for hydration. But inside, it behaves very differently. Watermelon feels like the safest fruit of all. It's light, refreshing, low calorie, and mostly water. Many people believe it's one of the best ways to stay hydrated, especially in warm weather. But here's the hidden issue. Watermelon has a very high glycemic index. That means it can raise blood sugar very quickly, almost like candy. For younger bodies, that spike may pass without much consequence. For adults over 60, repeated sugar spikes can quietly trigger inflammation and circulation stress, especially in the legs. Here's how that can show up. Leg fatigue shortly after eating, dull aching in calves during short walks, persistent ankle swelling stairs suddenly feeling much harder than before. When blood sugar rises fast, the body releases insulin. Aging bodies don't regulate insulin as smoothly, so inflammation tends to follow, often in areas with weaker circulation like the knees, ankles, and feet. Watermelon is also deceptive because of how easy it is to overeat. One slice turns into two or three. You feel like you're just eating water, but internally your body is dealing with repeated sugar surges. So while watermelon tastes like hydration, for some seniors it behaves more like a stressor, quietly wearing down leg comfort and endurance. If your legs feel heavier or more swollen during watermelon season, it may be worth reconsidering how often and how much you eat. Next, we move to a fruit almost everyone associates with immunity, vitamin C, and morning health rituals. But for aging joints, it can act like an acid attack. Oranges smell fresh, taste clean, and are deeply linked with health. Orange juice, vitamin C, immunity. Many people start their day believing oranges are protecting their bodies. But for some adults over 60, Oranges can quietly aggravate joint pain and leg stiffness. The main reason is citric acid. While acid isn't a problem for younger joints, aging joints and connective tissues are often already inflamed or sensitive. Citric acid can worsen that irritation, especially in people with arthritis, chronic stiffness, or slower circulation. What does this look like over time? Knees that feel stiff when you wake up, hips that ache after sitting too long, legs that feel sore or heavy after short periods of rest swelling that seems to have no clear cause. There's also the sugar factor. Oranges still contain natural sugars, and when combined with acidity, they can cause blood sugar fluctuations. Those swings can trigger whole body inflammation, and inflammation often settles in the legs first. The most deceptive part is habit. Many seniors drink orange juice every morning, believing it's one of the healthiest routines they have. But day after day, that acidity and sugar combination may be contributing to the very stiffness and discomfort they're trying to avoid. Oranges aren't bad, they're just not always kind to aging joints, especially when consumed daily or as juice rather than whole fruit. If you've noticed increasing leg stiffness or joint discomfort while keeping oranges as a daily staple, this could be one piece of the puzzle. Next, let's talk about a fruit that's widely believed to be the safe option: green, crisp, and less sweet. But it may hide a cause of nighttime cramps and tight joints. Green apples look like the responsible choice: crisp, fresh, not overly sweet. Many seniors choose them specifically because they believe they're lower in sugar and gentler on the body. But for some aging bodies, green apples can quietly contribute to leg pain, fatigue, and stiffness. The first issue is malic acid, the compound that gives green apples their sharp, sour bite. While younger digestion often tolerates it well, aging digestive systems and connective tissues can become more sensitive. Over time, this acidity may irritate joints and muscles indirectly. Some people notice aching hips or thighs after eating apples, warmth or burning in the feet, knees that feel tight or resistant to movement. The second issue is hidden sugar. Even though green apples taste less sweet, they still contain natural sugars. With a slower metabolism, those sugars can cause blood sugar swings, especially when apples are eaten alone as a snack or late in the day. That can lead to night leg cramps, morning stiffness, weakness when climbing stairs, calves that feel tight for no clear reason. Another problem is timing. Green apples are often eaten raw between meals, or even before bed, meaning the body has to manage acidity and sugar without the buffering effect of protein or fat. They appear pure and healthy, but in some seniors, green apples can subtly reduce comfort when walking, stiffen joints over time, disrupt nighttime leg relaxation. Now for the final fruit, one that feels tropical, luxurious, and harmless. Many people love it most of all. But for aging joints and circulation, it may be the biggest sugar shock of them all. Mango is soft, juicy, and almost candy-like. It feels light, refreshing, and natural, especially in warm months. Because it's a fruit, many people never suspect it could cause harm. But for adults over 60, mango can be one of the most stressful fruits for joints and legs. The reason is simple. Mango is extremely high in natural sugar, not just a little, enough to cause a rapid and powerful blood sugar spike. In younger, very active bodies, that spike may be handled efficiently. In aging bodies, metabolism and insulin response slow down. The result is a sharp rise followed by a crash, and every one of those swings promotes inflammation deep inside the joints, particularly around the knees, hips, and ankles. Some people notice burning or tingling in toes, evening foot swelling, a creeping heaviness in the legs, reduced stability when walking. Because mango tastes light and isn't filling, it's easy to eat more than intended. But the body doesn't care about the light feeling. The sugar load still hits hard. Over time, frequent mango consumption may contribute to worsening joint pain, slower, more cautious walking, legs that fatigue faster than they should. Mango is natural, yes, but natural doesn't always mean gentle for weaker circulation and aging joints. The good news is that some fruits work with aging bodies, not against them. Berries, blueberries, raspberries, blackberries. Low sugar, anti-inflammatory, circulation-friendly cherries, small portions, help reduce uric acid and joint flare-ups. Avocado, healthy fats that cushion joints and stabilize blood sugar. Papaya, gentle enzymes, easy digestion, joint-friendly pears with protein or fiber. Mild sweetness without sugar shock. Choosing the right fruit for your age can mean lighter steps, calmer joints, steadier mornings.